All right, well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Louisville Central Community Center, a great asset for our community that just keeps growing, and more things are taking place here. So it's been a wonderful community treasure, and it's going to be even more so as you see the revitalization in Russell that's undeniably taking place on many different fronts, and LCCC is a big part of that. So welcome here. We as a city are increasing our intentionality around support for Black and other minority-owned businesses. So that's we're going to focus on that today, and the part of the budget that just rolled out yesterday that's dedicated to that. And while Metro has always offered services to support these businesses, we recognize that those efforts have not been enough. We know that Black-owned businesses in particular need more support. So Louisville's story is so often told, whether it be gun violence or whether it be healthcare gaps, education gaps, housing gaps. We're kind of average when it comes to that in terms of Louisville's story is the country's story. For example, only 2.4% of businesses in Louisville are owned by Black citizens, but Black residents account for 23% of our population. So think about that, about 2.4% owned versus almost 10 times that representation in the population. And as I said, sadly, that's an American story. But we got to work on the Louisville story and the Louisville success part of that. So this gap, it's not because of lack of entrepreneurship or lack of ideas. In the fiscal year 22 budget, because of this gap, we've included more resources than ever to support Black and other minority-owned businesses. Because when everybody does better, everybody does better. It's as simple as that. So these gaps are a real problem for any society or any city. And we recognize that we're not going to reverse the effects of hundreds of years of basically institutionalized racism, policies like redlining, disinvestment, disenfranchisement. That's not going to happen overnight. And it is going to take time, and it is going to take dollars. So our goal for this fiscal year is to significantly increase the number of minority-owned businesses in our community by 2 points. So to get that done and to help get that done, in the fiscal year 22 budget, we allocated more than $13 million to fund initiatives aimed at supporting Black and other minority-owned businesses, including $25,000 to support capacity building for Black Business Association, $2.7 million for the creation of a new small business assistance fund, $100,000 in additional funds for Minority Business Incubator, and $10 million for the West End Opportunity Partnership. The budget also includes funds to hire a senior economic development manager focused specifically on helping businesses in the West End. That person will work with Louisville Forward, and I'd like to recognize one of the co-chiefs of Louisville Forward that's with us, Rebecca Fleischaker. Thank you for your good work. And today, to personalize this, we have an entrepreneur who had a vision to take his expertise and start his own construction company, and he needed a little support. And I want to emphasize something here, and this is something that takes a while for people to sometime appreciate, but smart people know how to ask for support. Smart people know how to ask questions, because nobody's expected to know everything or have all of the resources. And I can tell you, I've asked for all kinds of support throughout my life. I still do. So I encourage people, if you don't know something, don't feel like ashamed or embarrassed. Say, who can I ask to help or support me? So I'm glad to say that this entrepreneur found support through our Metco loan program. And the mission of the Metco program is to provide low-interest loans to individuals and groups who have trouble accessing their full capital needs through traditional resources. The loans can be used for startup expenses, to grow an existing business, as gap financing, and other needs. In the fiscal year 22 budget that just started yesterday, July 1st, we added $1.5 million to the Metco loan program so that we can help even more entrepreneurs like Corey Bailey, owner of Bailey Construction and General Contracting. Through the program, Corey was approved for a $50,000 business accelerator loan which is available to business owners in the 9 neighborhoods of West Louisville who have credit or banking challenges. So, Corey, we appreciate you reaching out. We appreciate being part of your team, and we'd love to hear from you now. Corey Bailey.
Good morning, everybody. First, want to say, give all honor to God, because in the absence of Him, none of this is even possible. I grew up in the West End, right off 28th and Dumanil. And in growing up, never dawned on me a dream that I would build houses or renovate commercial properties or do anything to that degree. But there was a man in a suit that picked up some kids and took us to over there on Hemlock, where we were cleaning up the landscape and beautifying the area in Parkland. And I remembered how that made me feel, being able to clean up the neighborhood that I lived in and seeing what it was after all of that was done. That man in that suit is Reverend Charles Elliott Jr., and he jumped out of his work truck in a suit and started throwing sticks and garbage into a truck, and it was the craziest thing I ever seen. But it was that part that I saw in my life that created this dream of Bailey Construction. And our tagline is building people to build community. So when we were able to launch 110% and run this race of trying to build this construction company, we were able to reach out to Louisville Metro for the Business Accelerator loan. That put us in position to be able to be a blessing to our community. All that we ever want to do is help build people to build community. Now, I know that sounds weird, but what we truly believe in our heart of hearts is that when you walk in your neighborhood and you see opportunities to build something, if you could be a part of that, that's what we want to do. Now, we know for insurance reasons sometimes that is kind of difficult depending on the line of work, but being able to reach into a community and being able to bring folks in to be able to be a part of that build, that is just one of the things in which we believe is a huge answer, so that people, as they're walking through the community, especially the impoverished areas where have been neglected, those are opportunities to build in that community buy-in, to understand, man, listen, there are things that are going on in our community that we don't have to stand for. We can make the change. We can make the difference, but we can't do it alone. All of us have to pitch in, and so we're just thankful to God that we have an opportunity to do something to be a blessing in the community, and we're thankful to the mayor and for the leadership in your efforts of addressing these items and your team, and for us being able to have this Metco loan. It just put us in position to set the business up so that we could be able to be a blessing to the West End community that we grew up in. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Proud to be on your team, and your mom's team with you there, too. All right. Now, Corey is also a certified contractor with the city, which is great to hear as we're intensifying our efforts around equity in procurement. So one of the critical steps we made on that was last September of 2020, I created the Equity in Contracting and Procurement Task Force, and they're charged with working to close the community's wealth gap by supporting Black-owned and minority, female, and disabled-owned business enterprises through supplier diversity initiatives, particularly related to capital projects, because we know over the next several years there's going to be a minimum of $5 billion of capital projects taking place in the city. So it's a good time if you want to start a business, because you'll see a reliable pipeline of projects coming your way. And more projects, thankfully, are requiring minority business participation on their capital projects. So Metro Government has long done that. But in the private sector, that now is also becoming a requirement. So it's a good time, Corey, to be in business, to build these initial phases so that you can participate in what's going to be a capital construction boom in our city over the coming years. I want to thank the co-chairs of our Equity in Contracting and Procurement Task Force. That's Tony Parrott. Tony is the CEO of MSD, and the other co-chair is Paul Thompson, and he's the CEO of LG&E and KU. And so they're doing a really nice job, regularly meeting, creating pathways for people to get more involved. Now, in this budget year, we allocated $250,000 toward those efforts of the Procurement Task Force. And to talk more about that process, we're joined by our Human Relations Commission Director and Task Force member, Vernee Goatley. Vernee?
Good afternoon, everyone. Just to talk a little bit about what the task force has been up to date. The task force has been hard at work gathering data to establish goals and timetables directed towards increasing expenditures with the utilization of minority, women, disabled, and disadvantaged businesses. And of course, we are looking at our Black-owned businesses. In addition to data collection and reporting, the task force has been working to ensure that non-discrimination, equity, and equal opportunity are safeguarded, promoted, and reflected in Louisville Metro's workplaces, as well as their decisions affecting hiring, programs, activities, developments, and/or capital projects. The task force is also creating a website to collect information and market and inform the public about work being done and post information about upcoming events and opportunities. In addition, we have been discussing hosting a large-scale event that would bring together all the members along with resources to one location for suppliers to meet, connect with the key decision makers on those projects. Another project in the works with Louisville Metro Government is with our purchasing department and various department leaders. We are reviewing several upcoming RFPs for renewal, looking for ways to unbundle these RFPs to be able to work with multiple suppliers. And of course, we want to be intentional with our diverse and Black suppliers. Metro will be hosting a series of sessions to give more details about the scope of work on these RFPs. The first session is scheduled for Tuesday, July 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Edison Center in their conference room. These sessions topics will vary from session to session. The first one will be talking about property maintenance and bus shelter cleaning. For more information about these sessions, you can contact our office at the HRC at 574-3631 or email us at hrclouisvilleky.gov. And as always, if you are a business owner and your company is 51% managed and controlled by an ethnic minority, woman, disabled, or LGBTQ person, our office is there to assist you in getting certified. To learn how to get certified with Metro certification program, contact our office, and know that the cost of certification with Metro is free, but the benefit of it is it's a marketing tool for your business. So we look forward to hearing from you out there. Let's get this going. Thank you.
All right, let's get this going. Thank you, Vernee. All right, one of the reasons why we wanted to hold this press conference here is because we wanted to highlight the great work taking place at LCCC, number one, and number two, put a spotlight on the Grand Lyric Theater project. We put $500,000 in this budget to go toward the completion of the theater. And you might want to check it out after this. The shell is complete, and we need about $1.5 million in total as a community to complete this very important project for the city, for West Louisville and all of Louisville as well. Kevin Fields is the Executive Director, President, and CEO of LCCC. He's going to talk about that a little bit more, but we'd like to see some support from our philanthropic community, our business community, to help finish the theater so we can showcase the talent of our young leaders over here on a day in and day out basis and have this as another piece in the renaissance of the Russell neighborhood. So I want to thank the Metro Council for their help in this budget as well. And now I'd like to ask Kevin Fields if he would share a few words with us. Kevin.
Thank you, Mayor Fisher, and good morning, everybody. Let me say welcome to Old Walnut Street. We call it our hub for culture and commerce here in the Russell neighborhood. I'm excited as the president and CEO to bring updates about this journey. And I certainly want to thank Mayor Fisher for his leadership and support. And also I want to thank Louisville Forward for being with us. I see Rebecca Flyshaker is here. Her and Jeff O'Brien, their predecessor, Mary Ellen Wiedewald, have been with us as we've advanced this calling of Old Walnut Street. Louisville Forward was here when we converted this space over here into a 12,000 square foot conference center. I really appreciate that. Louisville Forward was here when we built a brand new state-of-the-art commercial kitchen that is now housing a black-owned business, Dasha Barber Southern Bistro. Please come over and enjoy the fine cuisine that's provided here. Louisville Forward, in partnership with Louisville Metro Housing Authority, was also here when we upgraded our business incubator. We have a 20,000 square foot business incubator that is about 90% occupied. And so we're excited about that. We're extremely proud of Corey Bailey, Minister Bailey, and he represents for us a community of black-owned, black-led businesses. He's one of about 16 businesses located here in what we call Old Walnut Street, many of which here on Old Walnut Plaza, the first floor. So I want you guys, while you're here, to experience that. But as Mayor mentioned, the Grand Lyric Theater is a major leg of completing the development of this campus. And it's so significant, this investment in Old Walnut Street, this campus is so significant because when we took on this charge about 20 years ago, we envisioned leading by example to create something very special, but more importantly, to be a catalyst for economic transformation in West Louisville for the greater good of Russell and the surrounding neighborhoods. So we're really excited about the fact that the mayor saw fit to add to his budget a third of our goal. As he mentioned, we need to raise $1.5 million to complete it, and the $500,000 investment is certainly, you know, to use a football analogy, it helps us to get closer to the goal line. And so we're excited about that. Because I'm here to really represent my board. I see my board member, Floyd Smith, over here. Thank you. We have great board leadership. I also want to acknowledge the fact that he, along with our director, Goatley, thank you, Renee, have just did a phenomenal job of presenting the Trustees of Inclusive Equity Awards event that featured Mayor Fisher, by the way, as a welcomer. So thank you, Mayor. But on behalf of our board, our staff, and more importantly, our children, because everything we do here from a mission standpoint is to empower the children and their families to help them to be successful. And so I'm excited about the fact that we're getting close to having this state-of-the-art facility here on this campus that these children can use to produce Broadway quality, Hollywood quality theater. So I wanted to thank you. It's not on the program, Mayor, but since you came over to our house, we'll take a little bit of liberty. I want to call my manager, direct and leader of Fine Arts to come up here. She wasn't prepared for this, but she's a creative artist, so we're always creating on the spot. LaShondra Hood manages our education and Fine Arts division, and she's providing great leadership. We're in our second week of an 8-week performing arts camp where our kids will be producing The Little Mermaid, which I'm promoting today, and no, she's promoting Little Mermaid. I'm promoting Goldilocks on Trial. There'll be 2 summer productions, And I want her to maybe, are the kids ready to do something?
Yes, sir. Thank you all. We're super excited about what we're doing here at LCCC and super excited and grateful for all of the people that are making the Grand Lyric Theater possible for our young people. We are producing the shows August 6th through the 8th at the University of Louisville, and all of the ticket money and proceeds will continue to help fund the theater that we are looking so forward to being able to produce our own shows in our own space. So we're really excited. At the end of this, we will be able to show a snippet of one of the songs that they've been preparing live. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, LaShondra. So as the mayor mentioned, we do want to complete this project this year. That's my charge. That's the expectation that the board has put upon me, so we're going to do that. And so we are asking our corporate and philanthropic partners to join the mayor's campaign to finish the fundraising, and we'll have you back here soon with a ribbon cutting. So thank you, Mayor. Appreciate your leadership.
Thank you, Kevin. I also want to recognize Gladys Bailey back here, who's a part of the Bailey team. So appreciate all of your good mentorship as well. All right. Okay, folks. Well, in closing, I want to encourage all business owners, especially minority business owners, to get approved as a contractor with Louisville Metro Government so you can take advantage of the work opportunities that you have. I also want to encourage all businesses, especially black and minority-owned business owners, as I said earlier, to reach out for assistance. When you're starting a new business, it's hard. I almost went bankrupt twice when I started my new business, and a lot of people helped me along the way. So they are out there to help if you ask. So if you have an idea but need help getting your business off the ground, our economic development team at Louisville Forward has people who can assist you with the development of a business plan and connect you to other resource providers. And they can also help you apply for one of our Metco loan programs. And to all of our residents, we can all help by using our spending dollars to support black and other minority-owned businesses. So please do so. All right, with that, we're happy to take any questions. Hearing none?
A question for Corey. Are there going to be jobs available for folks who might be looking for work that you can address and how they should apply for those kinds of jobs?
Right. So thank you so much for that question. Currently, in our current space, we're waiting for a couple of key projects to fall in place for us. And what we want to do is when we have those projects in that community, we want to have like a job fair or something to the point where we can have a process so that they can not only get into the talent pool, but also we can connect them with other companies, even if we're not hiring, that could potentially work on those differing projects. Thank you for that.
All right, thanks everybody for coming. Enjoy the 4th of July weekend.